everyone and welcome back, and we have some very big news today. As from the 4th of December, the release of Tides of Torment, Immortal Empires will unlock for the owners of Total War Warhammer 1 and 2. This means that if you do not own Game 3 just yet, you will be able to play Warhammer 3 with anything that you do own from Game 1 and Game 2. You will play Immortal Empires, you won't have access to all the basic stuff because you'll need to buy that, but there is a lot to discuss here, because ultimately this is really good news for the future of Warhammer 3. But before anything, a big thank you to our sponsor, Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is a platform where you'll be able to buy games at discounted rates. So many good games are releasing now, like Anno and also Arc Raiders, which I'm really interested in it. I tried the beta and it was really good. Once I move, I'll be able to jump in. You can get it for 25% off, which is a really good deal. You can get discounts on games that are about to release, haven't released just yet, or released games. Even a lot of Total War DLC. You can even wishlist Tides of Torment now to get a pretty good discount when it releases. And not only that, but we have a monthly giveaway going on. Win the game of your choice. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below and sign up, and you don't even have to make a purchase. And pretty much it's any game that you want. This is a company I use myself. I recently picked up Jurassic World Evolution 3. I'm really enjoying it. Once the Total War DLC finishes, I can go back to it and do the challenge modes. And yeah, making a purchase with my special link in the description below also supports the channel, no extra cost to you, which is pretty cool. It's a company I've worked with for over a year now, and yeah, I'm pretty keen on them. So thank you once again to Instant Gaming. Now let's return to our regularly scheduled programming. So we got a bit of information here in the form of some points. 1. What are we doing? We're making Immortal Empires as well as the Lost God Prologue campaign available for all owners of Warhammer 1 and 2. If you own either of those games, Warhammer 3 will automatically be added to your library with Immortal Empires and the Lost campaign unlocked. If you already own Warhammer 3, nothing will change for you. This means, because I know there's a bunch of people who have commented on my videos, for example, that still do not own Warhammer 3 because of all the, well, let's be honest, constant dramas. You will have it automatically. You will not need to buy the game. You can still buy it and get other things like access to Kislev, Sunesh, the Monogod factions and Cafe, but this does mean that basically more players are going to be able to play it. This has been an expensive series, so it's nice to see this opening up. Let's go into the second part. Why are we doing it? As we celebrate 25 incredible years of Total War and look ahead to Warhammer's 10th anniversary in 2026, we want to do something special. Your passion and support for this trilogy have made Immortal Empires possible, and we couldn't be more grateful. Now feels like the perfect moment to open its gates and invite everyone to experience a piece of the adventure. Yeah, I mean, even they're aware that not everyone has jumped into Warhammer 3, and this is a way for them to be able to do so. So point 3, when are we doing it? That is going to be on the release, so yeah, I guess we have news that the release of the patch dropping and Tides of Torment is going to be at 4 o'clock GMT, which in most cases gets delayed. Usually by like an hour or something. It's nothing against CA there. That's literally just sometimes Steam has a bit of an issue. So yeah, that's fine. And then number 4, how will it work? Warhammer 1 and 2 owners will have Total War Warhammer 3 automatically added to their libraries. Through this, you will be able to access both the Lost God Prologue campaign, which is pretty good if you're new to Total War. Well, Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 guys won't be. And Immortal Empires. Please note, even if you don't own the full Warhammer 3 experience, you can also... Oh, sorry, that even shocked me. So you can also purchase any of its associated DLCs to play in Immortal Empires. So this means that if you own Warriors of Chaos, for example, in Game 1, and you want all the Monogod Warriors, you should be able to buy that and not have to buy Warhammer 3. So in that case, and there's an FAQ down there, but I just want to kind of like jump into this. You wouldn't have access to Nekari, Skarbrand, and so on, quite popular named characters, but if you buy the game, then you would. Right? That's how I see it. Considering, like, for example, Instant Gaming, you can get a really good discount for Warhammer 3. That shouldn't really be a problem in case you want the other lords. But yeah, you can buy DLC. That means that you can buy the Chaos Dwarfs and, like, not buy the base game. That's going to be quite interesting, actually. Because there's a few Monogod DLCs, which benefit, say, for example, the Beastmen and so on. Ultimately, yeah, this could actually be quite good for the game. There's a lengthy FAQ section, so let's talk about this. So 1, when is Immortal Empires unlocking? December 4th, cool. 2, is Immortal Empires a standalone game? No, you must own either Warhammer 1, 2, or 3 in order to access Immortal Empires, and it will be accessible through the Total War Warhammer 3 application in your library. I'm actually kind of curious that they didn't do the what they did with Pharaohs and then Total War Pharaoh Dynasties, But I guess they just want Warhammer 3 to be the pinnacle stop. Which, yeah, I mean, I guess it works, but, you know, they've done one thing before. Actually, I think if we go back to when Dynasties happened, I speculated that they were going to do something like that, but it turns out I was wrong. Free. Can I purchase any DLC from Trilogy regardless of which game I own? Yes. Oh, for example, if you own Warhammer 1, you can purchase DLC for 2 or 3 and enjoy it in Immortal Empires. Wow. That's actually pretty good. Now, this makes it easier to expand and tailor your experience to your liking. Yeah, I mean, that actually sounds like a good thing. I know there's going to be some people complaining about, like, oh, well, you know, I paid for it already and stuff like that. But keep in mind, like, you're getting access to the base game lords. So Karl Franz and Azag, Grimgor, all the ones from Warhammer 1 are locked behind Warhammer 1, just the base game ones. Tyrion Teclis, Skrulk, Queek, all those like base game ones from game 2 are going to be locked behind game 2, I guess. And so on and so forth. Okay, that's pretty good. Right, let's see. Number 4. What happens if I already own Warhammer 3? If you already own Warhammer 3, your game experience will not change, and there's nothing you need to do in order to continue playing your own content, but we recommend recruiting a friend or 7 and getting a co-op campaign rolling. Yeah, so nothing new for us, which makes sense. I mean, we've gotten plenty of like free content over the years and updates and stuff. Ultimately, what they want here is to get new players in, and that works out quite well. Actually, I think like for new players, you can get game 1, 2, and 3 for like a tenner or something. Again, instant gaming. Thank you. Number 5 now. What has changed with this update? The primary change in this update is that the owners of Warhammer 1 and 2 will now have access to Immortal Empires and the Lost God campaign from Warhammer 3. Yep, fine. How do I access Immortal Empires from within Warhammer 1 and 2? You don't. Immortal Empires will not appear as a game mode in 1 and 2. In order to access Immortal Empires, you'll need to launch Warhammer 3 from your Steam or Epic Games library. So it's coming up in the other stuff. I thought it was just going to be for Steam, which will be added to your library as part of this update. Okay, not bad, not bad. What am I gaining access to if I don't own Warhammer 3? The answer starts off weird, I'm not going to lie. No, if you only own Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, you are only gaining access to the Immortal Empires and the Lost Prologue campaign. If you wish to own the other Warhammer 3 content, such as the Realms of Chaos and the Legendary Lords, and their associated features, you must purchase the Warhammer 3 upgrade pack. Okay, so they're going to do an upgrade pack. As long as it's not going to be 60 quid, that's fine, because like I think it's still like 60 or 50 or whatever the hell the game price is right now. So if it's just like a DLC pack worth price, that'll be good. But again, you can get like Warhammer 3 from other sources. It would have been nice if they would have said the price of the upgrade pack, I'm not going to lie. I mean, they've said the pack for Tides of Torment, so, right? Just feels a bit weird. Alright, so we have a lot more points here. So 8. How do I get access to Warhammer 3 content? If you only own Warhammer 1 or 2 or 2, you can purchase the Warhammer 3 upgrade pack to expand your gameplay experience. This pack includes the 10 Legendary Lords and all of their associated units and features. Cool. The Realm of Chaos narrative campaign. It's no longer being supported, by the way, if you've not it's just an awful campaign map. Multiplayer campaigns like the Realm of Chaos. Again, Something Rotten in Kislev, Darkness and Disharmony. Those are quite fun. Something Rotten in Kislev is a really good challenge if you want to play with some friends. And Mirrors of Madness game mode, which I completely forget exists. You do that generally just to unlock some items for Daniel the Demon Prince, and that's it. Number 9. How do I remove Total War Warhammer 3 from my library if I don't want it? What? Follow the usual procedure for removing games from Steam, Epic, or Microsoft. Why would anyone remove a free game? Like, I get, look, Warhammer, Total War Warhammer's had its, issues. But, yeah, it's a free game, right? Number 10. How is Immortal Empires different from Warhammer 1? Drastically. Drastically. The map is like 3 times the size. It's like the biggest Total War so far. And I'm not even going to bother reading their response. And there's so many changes that have come in. So if you're still playing 1 or 2, a lot of the races that you've played are either going to get a rework now, like for example the High Elves, or have gotten a rework, or sometimes even 2 reworks, like the Dwarfs, the Empire. There's a lot of different changes. Does this mean my PC meets the requirements of Warhammer 3? Please check. You need to check your specs. The specs have gotten harder stronger or whatever. More complicated, I guess, for Warhammer 3 than they have for Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2. I don't like this. For number 12, which parts of Warhammer 3's multiplayer can I access? If you only own 1 and 2, or 2, I guess, you can play Immortal Empires in co-op multiplayer with up to 7 friends. If you wish to play multiplayer battles, you'll need to purchase the upgrade pack. I don't see why you'd need to upgrade just to do multiplayer battles. I mean, it just sounds weird, right? Look, I'm not the biggest fan of multiplayer. I've been trying multiplayer now, and to be honest, it's not too bad. But I know a lot of people still play like Warhammer 2 multiplayer battles and so on. And the casters, right? Like there are people like Turin and so on. They do loads of like tournaments. I feel like that should have just been made free, you know, part of the battle. Because if you're going to be using the stats with the Empire for Warhammer free stats, you should be able to do that without a problem. Number 13, does this impact family sharing via Steam? No, you'll be able to continue sharing your Total War Warhammer free content via the mechanism as normal. This list is not exhaustive. If you have any further questions, jump into our Discord where the community team will try to answer anything. Okay, yeah, I mean, barring number 12, everything sounds good. So yeah, barring number 12, everything does sound like it's a good thing for the game. What this is going to allow is a lot more people to enjoy the game. Because if you own Game 1 and Game 2 and you haven't jumped in, now's the perfect time, basically, well, on December 4th. And also, if you've wanted to jump into the games before, but don't have, like, the expendable income to jump into free games, this is going to let you jump in at a much cheaper, much cheaper price point. I mean, there's much cheaper price points. I can literally see, like, on Instant Gaming, which is, like, one of the companies I work with, link in the bio, by the way, £15 for all 3 main titles. But I don't think that this is going to be aiming at, like, new players. I think, really, the new players are going to be very minimal at this point. It's a quite old franchise. There's a lot of people who have bought into it because we've seen player numbers even during Warhammer 3's launch, which was not great, but still was impressive numbers. This is definitely done to get as many people back as possible, and I'm kind of for it. They seem to be doing well so far in communication. Not amazing, let's be honest. But stuff like this, cheaper price points, especially for a very expensive franchise, it's probably the best way to go. It makes me kind of curious, to be honest, because, well, you know, a lot of people have been saying, oh, well, it's clear it's the end of the franchise, blah, blah, blah. But Creative Assembly have said, like, look, they've got more plans for DLCs, and this stuff you would only really do if, like, you really want people back for certain projects. Obviously, we know that they're going to be doing like the biggest DLC they've ever done. Their words, not mine. I'm expecting it to be the End Times, which is like a setting period, which was cool models, just awful lore, fan fiction style lore. Honestly, I can't stop thinking about it. They must have some big plans if it's the case that they want people in Warhammer 3. Like, think about it, really. You can buy DLC without needing to buy the base game, which is great. But if there's only one DLC like people think it is, then it's kind of pointless, unless that DLC is going to be big money, right? Which I get, Thankful and Nagash, if they all come together, would be massive, but I feel like it would need more. Something like this couldn't have been easy to code in, because like obviously that needs to go in, you know, the fabled spaghetti code that they call it. So if something like this is going to happen, there must be a game plan going forward. Creative Assembly, while we like to like rag on them and stuff, they tend to think about stuff in the future. Or at least I really hope to God that they do. just like my only concern that if this is just for one DLC, just to get the bank on that. Because it would be really fucking stupid. I really don't think that they're going to be like that. We'll have to wait and see, however, but I do think that something like this will be good. I just hope everything works as intended on the launch. A little bit of fun at the end, but hey, you know, that's all we can do. Have a great day, guys. There's a few things planned out soon. The battle embargo ends and I can jump into campaign, which will be this Saturday. There's a lot of videos coming out, so yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Have a good one, guys.